As understood, Louis, Namibia needs automatization.
Don't worry, Anna, it will take 500 years to implement. So, good side of AI, the productive side, how it can enhance and change the lives of many people for the good.
What is Namibia for tourism?
I think Namibia is definitely a country that is behind Russia full force.
If I don't see the problem does not exist.
The cultural exchange between Namibia and Russia will be fantastic. Russia is one of the countries showing the world the way, definitely.
Zvezda Holding presents Dynamic Spectrum Talks. Now.
Hello, dear friends. This is Dynamic Spectrum Talks podcast. I am Anna Shafrana. This is my colleague Yuri Lindra.
Hello, everyone.
This is a place of free speech, Dynamic Spectrum Talks podcast, and a place where we talk to different people from all over the world. And one of our main aims is to build bridges between peoples and nations.
Very true, very true. This is why we are not in our common studio where we usually record our programs, and we moved to Nizhny Novgorod, the city situated on the Volga River, because these days in Nizhny Novgorod, a high-profile event, international event, is taking place. Global Digital Forum. 150 countries send their representatives to discuss, to talk about global politics, digital transformation, international relations, and how to cooperate in this digital environment. This is why today in our studio, we welcome Mr. Louis Fang der Merwe, who is the representative of ruling SWAPO party in Namibia, a businessman and a good friend of Russia. Louis, hello.
Thank you very much, Anna and Yuri. Second time on your show, first time in person. I appreciate it very much. And thank you for the invitation, and I'm glad to be here.
Glad to see you, dear Louis, and this is absolutely great to see people in person and to talk in person, no screen, and just real people. It's great. So, Louis, what are your impressions about the Global Digital Forum? First of all, the first question, and what events are you planning to visit here? Maybe you have already had an opportunity to talk to some people. Please, what can you say about this?
Well, the forum is still ongoing, but my first impressions are very good. Very well organized, no snags, the entrance, the tickets, the venue, everything perfect. So, and then the stuff on display, the things that we are talking about, the forum itself and the stalls, the technology, next level. I am so glad I'm here to enjoy this and to be part of this.
And, for example, how is Russia and Nizhny Novgorod?
Very good, very humid, very wet, very green. I love it. And the sun is out. I was expecting clouds and rain, but
because
very
Russia
pleasant.
must be in clouds and with rain.
Yeah, and I thought it was going to be cold coming from Africa, but it's actually very pleasant and very nice.
Of course, because it's a land of contrast. You were born, if I'm not mistaken, in Hobabis, which is a, let's say, arid place, almost desert.
Yes.
Very hot summers, cool winters, especially at nights. And now you have winter in Namibia, and we have summer in Russia.
Yes. And it's quite an experience to be in Russia. This forum is a very good forum. I want to build this bridge that you are talking about between my country and Russia regarding this technology that we can use. Because Africa, and my country especially, we need AI even more than I think you guys need it. Basically, I'm here also to build this bridge between governments, because I want to focus especially on e-governance. I think for a small country like Namibia, population of only 3 million, to have everything, most of the processes be done through AI and software, it will be very easy for Namibia to implement. We just need the willpower and the knowledge. That's why I've talked to a few companies here. Hopefully I will do some phone calls and get some consultations with these companies and our government. So good news all around.
So, and as we understood, these companies are also ready to share their experience, knowledge, and also to start economical and technological partnerships.
Yes, 100%, Yuri. And that is what I'm looking forward to, is building factual connections, having factual companies, inviting people, getting plane tickets and having consultation meetings in Namibia, them seeing our problems, thinking about the problems and finding a solution.
By the way, do you think that IT sector, IT industry is maybe the most, let's say, prominent one or the most desirable for Africa to discuss and talk with other countries, especially if talking about Russia, you and Russia? I mean, what areas of cooperation between Russia and Africa is in high demand? IT? Agriculture?
IT, of course. And what I would think is data management is a very important part of this, that we have systems that can integrate with the government and make the jobs easier so that we don't spend as much money on salaries, because at the moment we have a very heavy loaded government with too many employees, I think. So we need to automate many of these systems so that we take away the analog writing with paper, because we still do that in Namibia. It's very old school. But more than that, we need to create awareness first. It's good if we talk about AI and AI can do this, but in Africa, many people will not even know what you mean when you say AI. So in Africa, the first thing would not be to implement. It would first be to let the people know about what is AI, what are the positive sides of AI, and what can AI do to increase productivity in Namibia. So I would say in Africa, especially, and in Namibia, awareness of AI must come first, because we are talking about very deep things which the average person cannot comprehend. So,
But I'm very sorry, maybe it's not bad that a lot of people in Namibia doesn't know about AI because of social rating, for example, and so on. Do you discuss such kind of problems?
of course, the moral issues and the problems that can come with AI are there, but no, I think the people need to, they need to know AI first before they can say yes or no. At the moment, they don't know what AI is, so they cannot have opinion on AI.
As understood, Louis, Namibia needs automatization.
Yes.
Not to replace human mindsets and human brains. You need just to do typical routine work to be automated, to be more efficient, faster, and with less, let's call it mistakes.
Yes, and bureaucracy.
Bureaucracy.
Yes.
So it's not about just to put AI assistant in schools, which should, I don't know, help teachers or pupils to ask questions and to answer the questions. It's about just automate routine bureaucratic processes.
Yes.
Yeah, this is very good. This is for me, for example, I can say only yes, because it will consume less time, brings more efficiency, and of course will make more free resources to spend in somewhere else.
Yeah, critical places like education and so forth.
Yeah,
and because our population is so low, to implement many of these systems will not be that expensive, and it can be quite easy.
And what about the gap? Because we know that there is a, let's say, more or less common understanding that if society is not ready for technology, it's a fertile exercise to implement there.
Yes.
Does your society ready, or in Southern Africa in general, for such technologies, or maybe it's too early to say?
I think it's a little bit too early to say, but it comes back to we need programs where maybe in schools or somewhere we need to inform the people about the good side of AI, the productive side, how it can enhance and change the lives of many people for the good. So we need to start at the educational level first, I think, in Africa on AI, because we all know AI from somewhere. We see it on YouTube. In my country, people are very oblivious towards AI, and they might get the wrong impression and say no while they don't know what it can do.
But on the other hand, maybe South Africa can be those place, this place of, let's say, heaven on the earth for those who like, for example, old school.
That is true. And don't worry, Anna, it will take 500 years to implement.
So why are you here? If it takes 500 years, you will not make it, and even your children as well.
Unfortunately.
Still, there are a lot
But
of...
now, if you want freedom, dear friends, you can go to South Africa. For example, it's a good idea. Namibia and South Africa.
Southern Africa in general, and Namibia
Yes.
Specifically,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, what I'm going to ask you. About what I have seen. Let's specify, you already mentioned AI, but what kind of other technologies, for example, we have, and for us it's a daily routine, you would like to bring to your country with some amendments or maybe like copy-paste versions did you find something that can be useful beside AI?
Well, personally, of course, I saw the military aspect. Being involved myself in the Namibian military, I can tell you that we are far behind. Technologies that I found very curious here, which Namibia is very far behind, the military aspect, of course, is very interesting to me. So I am definitely going to take back some aspects regarding military technology to improve our military itself. We need new procedures in our military and to catch up with all the new warfare initiatives that have especially happened in the last 2-3 years because of the special military conflict in operation in Ukraine. The war has changed a little bit, quite a bit. So Namibia needs to adapt, see what is happening, and we need to take some of your systems and just to bulk up our military as well. So definitely many military aspects.
Louis, we heard a lot, of course, from the news and from the statistics that cybercrime is on the high rise in Africa in general, and Namibia particularly is not an example, is not an exception. The problem is that we know that digital services and the level of internetization in Africa is still far below, let's say, the medium level around the world. So how this is possible? How this possible that cybercrime beats all the records while many societies, villages, even towns have no proper access to the internet? What's the case and what are you going to do? Not you personally, of course, but what kind of African solution could be to this African problem?
Okay, Yuri, so first of all, Namibia's internet access has gone up significantly in the last decade. I think we will be on the top 3 probably in Africa when it comes to internet access and the speed available. So the majority of the population now, especially in the last 5 years, has acquired a smartphone and has access to internet. And that has led to cybercrime increases, of course. But we have now also started with processes to curb it. For example, we have now forced people who want to buy a cell phone, you must give your identification with applying for internet or for a cell phone so that you can be held accountable if something happens. And yeah, we have created a new department lately, about 3 years ago, for cybercrime. It's still in its infancy.
Police department?
Yes, a police department, yes, for cybercrimes. So it's very small, but we are focusing on those type of things, yes.
So you mean that you're tackling the problems?
We're tackling the problems, and the reason it is on the rise is because many people are getting cell phones now.
You know, there is a common story, especially, of course, not in Namibia or in Southern Africa, but in a far more remote area, for example, on the islands related to Australia or New Zealand, whatever. The solution is, if I don't see the problem does not exist.
Great solution.
That is never an answer.
Good that you realize that it's never an answer. Ignoring problem is not the same as to solve the problem. It's
Yes.
opposite.
Good.
Louis, if we are talking about technologies, to your mind, is there any viable perspective in communications between Namibia and Russia if we are comparing such communications between Namibia, for example, South Africa and other Western countries?
Of course, especially I would say in the mining industry and in the fishing industry. We can start doing business with Russia tomorrow. Automated trucks, mining. I know Russia is looking for minerals. So talking to Namibia and using these types of technologies to make things easier. Even today I saw trucks driving by themselves, mining trucks, delivery trucks. So you can start
Here in Nizhny Novgorod.
Yeah, at the expo. So, or at least advertisements of it. And that is discussions that we can start even tomorrow with Namibia and Russia to cooperate, whether it is fishing or mining or even tourism. Yes, tourism is a very big part that I want to promote between Namibia and Russia.
Oh, I like this issue very much.
I like this issue also.
Please explain in details. Yeah, it's very interesting.
What is Namibia for tourism?
We have the oldest desert in the world, very few population, but we have also all the animals, the giraffe and the elephants and everything. So we would like to invite Russians more to come to Namibia, we want to steal the Russians from Kenya and from Botswana to come to Namibia for their safaris, for the African safaris. We want to have, promote ourselves, maybe even the Moscow metro, to have a picture of Namibia, come visit Namibia, come to the desert. So I want to promote tourism between Namibia and Russia. Namibians must come here. We have visa-free travel, and Russians must come to Namibia and enjoy themselves.
Without any visa?
Without any visa.
Right now?
Not right now, yes. We have that good cooperation.
Louis is pure evidence that a visa is not required. Am I right?
Yes.
You can show your passport.
I came here without a visa. And I can be here for 3 months. Legally, enjoy myself, see your culture, experience your nice trade show, and then go back to Namibia and tell my friends, and hopefully some of my friends next year, they will come here, enjoy, and come back, and so forth.
But it's a beautiful and great time, I think, on the other hand, because we have now much more opportunities, to my mind. Why? After the launch of special military operation, to say the truth, many Russians began to think what places they can visit. If it's not Europe, or not the United States, and so on and so on, Namibia and Africa, great place. And we know about these places practically nothing.
And Namibians know about Russia practically nothing, so I think you have a lot to say. What were your expectations before you arrived to Russia, and now after spending a few days here?
Well, my expectations of Russia changed about 2-3 years ago when I started researching a lot about Russia because of the SMO, the Special Military Operation. And to get onto your point, Anna, I think the Special Military Operation will also show Russia who are your real friends. That is what I think. Now you will realize who will stand by you, who you can trust. And I think Namibia is definitely a country that is behind Russia full force. Many of my colleagues, the environment in Namibia, from all walks of life, is we are behind Russia. We are very pro-Russian in Namibia. So the cultural exchange between Namibia and Russia will be fantastic.
So, and what your physical impressions after spending a few days here? Because everybody think that Russia is a place where bears walking along the street, drinking vodka, play balalaika, I don't know what else.
I think people don't realize that if Russians can turn themselves into cyborgs, tomorrow they will. The Russians are very on top of technology, much more than people would like to think. Whether it's Kaspersky or all the other companies I see here, Russia is on the forefront, on the blade, on the spear tip when it comes to especially new technologies, when it comes to computers and software and AI. I think Russia is one of the countries showing the world the way, definitely.
So it means don't trust propaganda.
Don't trust propaganda, definitely
It's
not.
very interesting because Russian people every time criticizing ourselves. We don't like.
Yeah, we think that we are underachieving, and the government and the society itself, are not reaching even 50% of their capabilities. So everything is poor and need to be improved much more faster.
What I have seen is, what I think is happening also is the patriotism in Russia is something that my country also needs. At the moment, I feel my country is not too patriotic. The people in the country, they just live day to day, get the salaries and live. We need a little bit more nationalistic vibe and a patriotic vibe like Russia. We need our country flags more. At the moment, we need to be more patriotic in Namibia. And Russia is also showing us that example, how a community, how a people, even different people in the country, a mixture of people in Russia, they follow one ideal mostly, one progress. And that is what we need to also implement in Namibia, is a little bit of more patriotism.
This is very interesting issue that you noticed Russian patriotism. Why? Because not so long ago in Russian society we used to discuss this topic that patriotism is lost. What is patriotism? How to make patriotism the main idea in Russian society? But the picture you're describing now is completely different from
what we think about ourselves.
Yeah. So maybe it's always good to have someone looking from outside that has got even less patriotism, because for us, you have got a lot of patriotism. And when I see the flags, the people, the soldiers, the respect, the big events, it's all wonderful, and it's something for us to aspire to as Namibia to do.
But this is a result of these things which our enemy was making with us, with the Russian people, with the Russian society during a very long time.
They forced us to mobilize.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mobilize our resources and to start to not just living day-to-day life like you are in Namibia, but start to think critically. Maybe there is something wrong. We should change ourselves and start to relaunch our life, restart our life.
But at this moment, we understand that this is maybe a very good moment to think once again about what is consumerism. Now in Russia, we are thinking about it.
Yeah, it's consumerism as an ideology leads to nowhere actually, because you consume more and more and more, but what's the purpose of it?
Exactly.
You're not developing.
Yes, there's no way forward, and it's a self-destructive cycle that will end up in nothing in the end. So we need to think towards the future and towards posterity, our children's children, not only about ourselves. In Africa, we have a big mentality that we only think for ourselves and tomorrow. And if we think far, maybe we think one lifetime. What will happen when I die? You need to think more in 100 years, what will happen to your country, what will happen to this procedure or this system. So we need to learn from China and from Russia how a government can plan a little bit far ahead, even 200 years, 100 years in front, not what is happening next week.
Louis, you are a member of SWAPO, ruling party in Namibia, Southwestern People's Organization. Yeah, Southwest African People's Organization. So, how your colleagues, your comrades in the party perceive in general, think about the current geopolitics, because we see that the world is shaking, a lot of is happening, many conflicts. So who is the beacon for Africa, for African country, with whom Africa sees its future in order to go through all these difficulties with less losses?
Well, of course, Africa is a little bit polarized, but I would say 3/4 of Africa stands solidly behind Russia. Even Namibia, we had a little bit of a problem with our previous, we can say, presidency. It was more pro-USA, more pro-Europe, but now we have a new president. I love her very much, Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah. And she's taking us back to our roots, the appreciation for our independence and how Moscow affected that independence of Namibia. She is bringing back the old friends. So I'm very glad that is happening. We are basically tightening our relations with Russia, which is good.
It's very interesting that not so long ago in Poland, previously in Namibia, those who think much more about patriotism and national roots could take the power. For example, we see the situation in Romania, in Moldavia, so they can't and couldn't do it.
Yeah, the system was so strong that the potential leaders, if they gained much support from the society, they were just blocked in order not to allow them to enter the system and change the system. So the resistance of the system was so high that it's difficult for second opinion for politics, even if they're supported by the majority of people, to climb up and to do the difference.
That is unfortunate. And to get back to the point of the SWAPO, my SWAPO comrades, my leaders, and the people around me in SWAPO, I am very confident that we are also 90% plus very much in the majority pro-Russian within the SWAPO party itself. Definitely.
But it means that there is democracy in Namibia.
Yes, definitely there is a big democracy.
Last time we mentioned one interesting issue, that the current presidency, the president of the country and the vice president, both are women. This is a unique story, especially if we keep in mind that Africa in general considered to be a very archaic continent with, let's say, old traditions and not so affected by the modern trends. But now we see that democracy exists because if women can prove themselves to be leaders and mother for the nations, why not to become a president? And
Yes.
the people will elect them.
I agree 100%, Yuri. I think women bring an aspect of nurturing and wisdom. It's not always men like to focus more on the capitalistic side, sometimes maybe moving too fast. I think the woman will just make the country breathe and look at our options and look at the priorities, family first, patriotism, those type of important things to get the house in order, because we have also now in Namibia started to experience broken homes where children do not have a father and so forth. We need to fix the problem at the house first, and then we can dream big.
But colleagues, this is very interesting moment. Look, there are another examples. For example, if you take European women, for example, Ursula von der Leyen, Annalena Baerbock, previously Angela Merkel, they are providing completely different policy, yes? And in Africa,
it's again different, yeah. Honestly, I think the names you mentioned, at least two of the three are, I would say, marionette puppets. Not like Baerbock and Ursula, who voted for them. They were appointed. They were not voted. Yeah. So Netumbo was voted. You can see every guy's signature in the voting card.
You mentioned at the beginning that everything is in a paper in Namibia, so it's possible
you can
to
find
check.
the paper. The physical paper,
Everything is in written form.
Yes,
oh,
yes.
I like it very much.
And by the way, let's remember our own history. The greatest achievements of the Russian Empire were under the leadership of Catherine II.
Yes, it's true.
Yeah, exactly.
So women can bring a new relief, I would say, or something new to the system, and also to provide extra
We just
impulse.
need to be a little bit more natural. Come back to earth, like she said, open spaces. Let's handle the AI very responsibly, and let's not rush every day like it's the end of our lives. We must enjoy lives a little bit more. Take it easy. Take it a little bit slower.
But in Russia and in Namibia, if we are talking about women, this is healthy situation, because the other story is feminism. To my mind, this is absolutely extremistic ideology. So it must be forbidden.
Yeah, feminism, of course, started the right way 60 years ago, but then it turned out the thing it is today, an extreme thing.
Yeah, equal voting rights is not the same as we see how it's reflected
It's
in the
human
modern
nature
time.
to take things too far, it seems.
Louis, let's go behind the horizon. How do you see our relations between Russia and Namibia in 10 years' time, in 10 years period?
Well, I can only hope, and from my small part affected, but I would envision, and currently we're on that track. I hope we stay on that track. We are going to build very good relations with Russia. We will have very good bilateral cooperation with Russia. And like I mentioned, on all these industrial, technological, and even cultural grounds, we can cooperate. So hopefully, and we are on track, we will have a very, very good future with Russia.
And what about those 500 years that are required to reconstruct?
That's why between you and me and us, we will try to make it 50.
Okay, this is the plan.
This is the plan.
Well, yeah, with your efforts and with the efforts of your comrades, I think everything is possible. You know, like our foreign minister, Sergei Lavrov, a few years ago said, the tango is necessary to dance together. So if there is a will from your part, and if there is a will from our part, the dance is possible.
100%, Yuri. And I'm ready to dance.
Louis, we noticed previously that men from Namibia very often look like men from Russia. Why?
Well, of course, of our European ancestry, many people in Namibia come from Europe, Northern Europe, and some even Eastern Europe. So, of course, we will look the part. But why I look more Russian, I cannot tell you. but I'm glad I fit the profile. Thank you.
Because you look like Russian poet Sergei Yesenin.
Yeah.
I will practice tonight.
When you sleep well, and you look like a Sergei Yesenin with the same thinking face.
Thank you very much. I will take that as a compliment.
It's a very prominent poet.
Okay.
I like it a lot. And about the culture, Louis, a few words about cultural exchange. Technologies is good, we discussed it. Military cooperation, also good. Women in power, very nice. What about culture? We understand that the people are different. This is actually how United Nations was created, with the common understanding that the people are different, but we need to respect and treat them equally. So how we can communicate and to boost the cooperation between Russia and Namibia, between Russia and Africa in general, having and remembering the common previously agreed understanding that the people are different. How we can, let's say, make our positions in cultural sphere closer.
Well, first off, there's a big cultural difference between Russians and average Namibians. Namibia, again, is a little bit polarized. You have your white Namibians and you have black Namibians, and we have different cultures within Namibia. So more or less every Russian, especially in the West, has got more or less the same culture, but in Namibia, your black Namibian has got a totally different culture than your white Namibian counterpart. We relate, the white Namibians relate even a little bit more with Russia because of our conservative values, the church, the family, and responsibility. So that is where we will have a big overlap and good communication. But like you also mentioned earlier today, Yuri, we need to keep the respect between the cultures. Let's not force the cultures together or some melting pot or whatever. You do where we can meet and work together, we work together. Yes.
So, and there is also a space for our cooperation. You see this opportunity.
I see it definitely.
Without forcing each other to accept and integrate the culture, just to rediscover or discover again.
Definitely, it is needed to be done just for the posterity of man, for the entire human race to go forward without so much issues and problems. It is good for us to work together when we can work together, but let's not force us to work together. But I think me and you are definitely on the same page.
Yeah, the values, the topic you just mentioned is probably would be somehow discussed during your session where you are a speaker. You will talk about the global digital platforms and about how they force peoples and nations all around the planet to consume universal, I would say, type of information and the universal rules. So, for example, if you want to get access to the technology, consume what we provide. Otherwise, no. So, accountability of the digital platforms to teach them how to respect the country's legislation, the ethnic, cultural differences of the people is very important. So, maybe a few words what I'm going to say tomorrow about it.
I see you are getting at is also the difference between what Europe is trying to do and you guys with this forum, because usually this type of forum would have happened somewhere in the West, somewhere in France or in Belgium or in Norway. Now, because of the special military operation, you guys have been forced to compete with them, hold your own event, which is a saving grace for us, like in Namibia and many African countries. We would rather prefer to come to your event than go to any other event that the West offers. So already you can see that there's a big difference in a respect following more the Russian way. And the Russians also respect more other people's culture. If there's business, we can do business, but there's no many strings attached behind the scenes for us to cooperate.
So, and if we will think in a philosophical way, we can understand that this moment, a new world crisis, it's an opportunity, new opportunity for us to unite.
Definitely. Russia, I see Russia as a catalyst for world change, big things to change. The whole paradigm of the planet, the status of countries, the rise of the global south. Russia is going to be and is currently the catalyst. It's changing the world quite quickly. It's turning the wheel very quickly, Russia. It's good.
Thank you, Louis, very much for this very interesting discussion. As usual, second time, third time should be in person, must be in person as well. Let me also wish you all the best and great success in your efforts to bring our countries closer together in order to exchange technologies, resources, education, wisdom, etc. Let me wish you all success in your activities, and we'll come back again when you have news about Namibia and the progress. We'll check it out.
We will be waiting for you here in Russia. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Anna. Thank you very much, Yuri, for the opportunity. It's always a pleasure, and I'll be ready next time for any interview.
See you.
Thank you. Good.
Zvezda Holding presents Dynamic Spectrum Talks now.